Alright, welcome to another episode of Mbali Express TV, and tonight we host the spokesperson of the cultural institution of Bagishu, who is none other than the man himself, Stephen Masiga. Masiga has been the spokesperson of the institution for the last 5 years since the initiation of the Umukoka 3 of the Bamasaba. We want him to say hi to us. We have issues that are burning in the house. One is that the car which was given to the Umukuka has been given to him in his own names. The Bagisu or the Bamasava think that this is the property of the institution and not his personal property. Two, we have a faction of Bamasava or Bagisu which are preparing an election of a fresh Umukoka. They feel the term of the Umukoka is expiring next month, so they feel they should be electing a new leader to take over from the current Umukoka. Number three, we shall have other clarities of whether the Inzuya Masava, because the other faction claims the Inzuya Masava, as we talk now, it's empty, it has no cultural leader, and the cultural leader who is there is now Umukoka Wobogisu. So we start from there. Mr. Masiga, say hi to the people, and we continue.
Nasi manabi, mwami wa Mbali Express. Mwanyara ukulanga kama sinakasenga nolombiri ndikamena bananga bari Stephen Masiga, the spokesperson we Bukuka. Kane hole clarification isese nakanile Bukuka in an official capacity and official capacity. Hutandiha as call it a rebel cultural something. Mutu 20 ngatuli mu trenches tuluwana nga bumper that appointment to speak, but formally I began in 2023, of course, with the official gazette of the cultural leader. You are aware that there was time for fighting, and we fought, we drew the attention of government. Nekolachi neingirao invoked the necessary provisions of the law. Biotegera mateka wagaso mugamanyi neba besinga ku mateka ago neba kolachi gazette mutu 23. So the formalities, formal reign begins from 223. As I said, it is for a period of 5 years and will have to end in 228. I saw people talking of October, but yeah, yes, it is October 228. They are very right on October. October 228.
They claim October 2025.
No, it's October 228. 5 years from 223 to a gazette 228. So that is what I wanted to say. Yes, thank you, sir.
Why is it that we are having, you claim there are 3 years to elections?
Yes.
We have a faction of Mr. Washaki, Mr. Wamimbi, Mr. Wedaida, who were a strong part of the Umukoka's team. They are now organizing an election very soon, and they claim that the other Umukokas, Emeritus, Wamimbi and Umukoka Mshkori, when they served, they were gazetted. Some of them were gazetted a year to the end of their tenure. And when they were gazetted, they were paid their arrears, and after payment of their arrears, they stepped out of office peacefully and they gave path to the next Umukoka takeover. Why is it that it is somehow different from this current Umukoka? His Royal Highness Jude Mike Mdoma.
Wanyara Msahul. Let me assure about myself. The likes of Washak you are talking about. You know, power, cultural power cannot be given to children. And should be kept away, far away from children. It should be kept far away. Ubanga ana mbohata who chenda hushina mustreet that is the Umukoka. So cultural power must be kept out of reach of what? Of children. I want to tell you that we must reason. It's not about age, your age. It's not about gray hair, but you can reason. I've seen you reason very well. I want to appreciate your reasoning. One is that people who are clamoring to be cultural leaders, many of them don't qualify. As I said, we must keep away power from them. Out of reach of children. You have seen medicine in the home. You keep it away from reach of what? Of children. So we are keeping power away from safer from the likes of Washak. Because the moment they get cultural power, they are going to begin talking around, dancing around the streets. That's not how we run a cultural session. Back to the issue of tenure. Now, You interviewed me as a rebel spokesperson of the cultural institution in 220, 221, even in 222 early. I've used another example, political example, like Museveni. Museveni begins to fight the government of Obote in 1981, but he gets to power, state power, in 86. So when you are rating the tenure of Museveni, you do not rate him from the time of initiating the fight.
Yes.
You are very much aware that His Highness, current Highness, then he was Mr. Mudoma. He goes to the High Court to petition the High Court to gazette him. The likes of Mzee Gabiali goes to the High Court to gazette him. They were all dismissed. Those petitions were dismissed and were referred to what the law says. They told them, Chamurambi Seliga and Silom. The Article 246, Clause 2 of the Constitution, it says, whenever people quarrel over cultural leadership, you go back to the elders, which is seen in Section 16, subsection 1, and 2, and now Section 16, rather 15, subsection 1 of the Cultural Leaders Act, where elders sit, they assemble, there's a mediator appointed and agreed on, and that is from 220 up to 23. That was the characterization of Masaba land. So when the government saw these tensions, vibes, is it vibrations? It said the people are going to kill each other. You know, we here, we are all like, Masaba, very serious fighters. That one I must put it on record. So because of these fights and people saw the government saw the vibrations, they quickly used the formula provided by Parliament. It's good I was in court recently. I told the justices of the Court of Appeal, I brought it to their attention about the formulas we used to resolve the impasse. So now, between 2020 up to 23 August, it was a time, a turbulent time. People were fighting left and right. There were cliques, there was Poromudoma. Yes, the likes of Comrade Washak. Now we must keep away power from him because I've analyzed his thinking. We are keeping away power from him. The likes of Mzee Wedaira, Mr. Walimba and others, they were part of the team that brought the Umukuka. We must acknowledge their efforts. They all had a role to play. Not necessarily very overt. Someone who was in an overt role is me. Because you see, we do sit in Mutoto, it is me to communicate. Not the Wedairas. You have never interviewed the Wedaira. You only interviewed him of recent. In 220, I was the one. You remember that? Yeah, I was the one on the camera. Oh, yes. So, we must know that the tenure of His Highness, the Umukuka, 3 will come to an end. But will come to an end in an appropriate time, which will be 228. And if we use the parameter of 5 years, as it is with other cultural leaders, then that is 228. And now, in the Catholic Church, you are not Catholics. When they are electing the Pope, Pope, this is what they call the white smoke. But Pope bali kunywa chai and other believers nga bali kunywa chai. Bwebala ba smoke eri dark, they don't care. Naye bwala ba yechuka nebeera white. Yamanya bude bobo. Tufunye ki? Tufunye papa mupya. Now, in the same setting, when you read section 7 of the Cultural Leaders Act, section 7 subsection 1 and 2, or A and B, erambika ki bulungi. Erambika bulungi. Ikana habulai ngomukuka neta munde ngomukuka mudome mukaye yetsire hwola. We are going to write to government. We are going to write to government and it will be published in the gazette, official publication. Mr. Kulubi, I hope you have read it. Official publication.
The Uganda
Gazette.
The government newspaper.
Yes, government newspaper, yes. Official newspaper. There are 2 grounds of electing Umukuka. One, Umukuka aliko uliho when he loses appetite for the cultural seat himself. If he loses appetite, that is what they call abdication. Obivamu kugamba nze nekoyedde. It's almost like the first one. So we bear out those 2 points. Umukuka can write to the Minister of Gender that end of my duty is here, or tour, whatever you call it. Ntibude bwebuno. Pass. The Umukuka will write and the minister will publish. And now tell Bamasaba, please organize and have another what? Cultural leader. 2, abdication, which is done with the monarchies themselves. Mutuvaye kadi dali 95 years, 98, ya bivamu just. Arebu abivamu tabera no muyerio mavao. If it's in Uganda nagende Rusu Zanzibar, Jabeira, Tagara to inconvenience others. So we have not seen that white smoke. That time is not. Even His Highness Umukuka Mshikori, that was the basis. Even His Highness Umukuka Wamimbi, that was the basis. Now back to what you are saying. Whereas it is very true that we, Umukuka Wamimbi was elected in 2010, isn't it?
Yes.
And gazetted in 2014. A year to the end of his tenure. It is not a dispute that in 2010, Bamasaba, in Mbale Municipal Council here, Bamasaba elected the Umukuka Wamimbi. Neba mutuza ku kitebe ki Maluku. How I wish this camera would reach Maluku. Neba mutuza ku kitebe nti you are the Umukuka of Bamasaba. Maluku nga akola gazeti ya delayinga naye nga sente zijja bichi nenge ya alikola ki? Alikola atude ku ki? Kuna munigina. Hosherebeshe Bamasaba kuliki na mulondo. Kuna mulondo ya indebe Bamasaba we hali. Ifefe hobe mutoto huhala humabale buseta iyo huhala misala busa musahulu be Maluku yabakundi was there illegally. So we formally, if we now use Maluku, nti Maluku je Umukuka jatula twayingirayo mu 223. So tutandikira 223. Okay. Yes. 2.
You are counting the time where His Highness Wagavyadile.
Yes.
Spent the 2 to 3 years.
That was also there illegally. Yali acting tenant wa that place. Wanga bali basura muno kusuramu. So yali awo illegally nga akumye until the real Mukuka comes, isn't it?
So you are counting only the time when the Mukuka started staying in Maluku.
Yes. After Gazette, and bagamba tandikirawo. Kati bano ba their highnesses Mukuka Wilson Wamimbi and Bob Mchikori baba tuza on the spot gwe bakulonze tula what the gazette delays it was not affecting the operation. There was no court dispute, there were no quarrels, there was no vibration of any sort, cultural otherwise. So they were literally our cultural leaders. So a gazette to them was an informality. A gazette, let me use that one. A gazette to them was an informality. For us, a gazette was a formality. Wanga gazette ya tutwale eri. Ibo gazette ya basanga eri. Owulira? I hope. I now understand your point. Yes. Fair gazette. Fair gazette is a formality. Ngefeba masaba formality. Ba sa hulu Mushikori ni wa mimbi. I gazette yaba an informality. Kubanga they were already in the system. Fete twali muchimu system to twayingira the gazette after the what? The other thing is what? Court mediation, directed mediation, or government directed mediation. So basically that.
Let's talk about the change of the logo and the name of the institution. Many Bamasaba are not happy. They feel that the old logo was far better than the new logo.
Okay.
Which I saw, you saw the video of Mr. Oshak and the rest disputing it.
I said keep power away from Oshak. Oshak is still a child in the cultural setting. Whereas he may be grown up political and what have you, but in the cultural setting he's still a child. Sure that I want to alert Bamasaba to keep away power, cultural power from him. Now
let's talk about the logo and then the change of the name. Why change from Izia Masaba to Bukuka Bobugis?
Yes, thank you so much. Now, the Izia Masaba constitution was gazetted disabled. So it's not there, it's in limbo. If you want to bring it back, you must petition court or government to ensure that they revive it. That is one. 2, the change was guided by the minister of course, you know, there are very many people who think we should be Bamasaba. Very many people here. I know you are an investigative journalist. You move around, you have seen very many people want to be called Bamasaba. There's no dispute on that one. But what is in the constitution is Bugisu. We can still call ourselves the Umukuko, the Bamasaba. I don't see any harm with that. However, the Inzu constitution had its own gaps and challenges and lacunas. So government and other entities guided that, no, this is a company which is for a certain persons and therefore not for all what? Bamasab. So that was the guidance that was given. So we want to say that it was not our own thinking and making that the Inzu constitution was gazetted, but because somebody said no, it is not for Bamasaba, it is for certain individuals. And they said, but even most of these people have died. So other people who want to take it up are masqueraders. You saw our former PM, with due respect, Right Honorable Charles Olimbo Peke Masolo, from nowhere said was the Secretary General of the Inzia Masab. From nowhere another one says, no, I've been appointed by Njovu, somebody called Komoli. That is now the substantive Secretary General. You can see a lot of fracas around there. Because, once there's no owner, they say that once a powerful man dies, even the monkeys can dare to play around his grave. The monkeys are playing around the grave of a general. A respected general, you find even monkeys defecating on his what? On the grave and what have you. So that was the thinking, that the likes of Nabudele that began this thing are not there. So there are very many other claimants. Very many other claimants on it. The logo, I want to also tell Bamasa that we have had concerns, especially on the logo. We are receiving and we are analyzing and considering it very seriously, and at an appropriate time cabinet or book will guide on the way forward. Because if people say we are uncomfortable with this symbol, this logo, we need to also listen. We are listening post as a cultural institution. We are not here to ignore what you say, but we challenge and encourage Bamasaba that they should find the way of communicating in an appropriate manner. For us, culturists, we are now very sensitive. We are very, very sensitive. So we would want appropriate communication. Once you bring it well, we say, yes, we are here to listen. We are listening post. We shall listen to our people and take corrective measures to ensure that any logo is well embraced in our cultural community.
There is something I want you to comment about.
Yes.
And there are comments of the big man.
Yes.
A man who is historical in Bisu.
Yes.
A man you know very well.
Yes.
A friend of yours. I don't know whether he's still good friends.
Yes.
And the man is Mr. Walimba Peke.
Yes.
This is what he said about you.
Yes.
It's a pity that a young man like Masiga is telling population lies. But give him some time. Masiga should be told that just give a few 2-3 months. He will come back to. If he's from Masaba, he will come back to the normal senses. He's just beating about because the money the government is giving Umukuka, which is pocketing, and when he gives him 10,000, and he thinks he can insult some of us. Well, let me tell you, I am very lucky. After the 1995 Constitution, I was elected by every Masaba, and I'm the only leader who was chairman of LC5 for the whole of Bugisu. Thereafter, when Mujas comes, we had already started creating Bugisu, and I've been in the council for Masaba land since 1989 to date. So you can't beat me in the leadership of Bugisu. You can't say you understand the Bugisu better than me. So I pity this young Masiga. And for me, I can't waste time arguing with him because he's just shouting, and he thinks people who are reading news by insulting people like Walimba, people like the 5Ws. He's wasting time. Tell him, please, Masiga, concentrate on your own things. You are in the wrong direction. This fight is going to dump you tomorrow after 3 months because Bamasaba are going to have Umukoka number 4.
Thank you so much. Those are the words of we start from there. You've had the communication.
I will listen very well. You see, I wouldn't say protocol-wise because I'm a spokesperson of the cultural institution. Mr. Olimbo here was the spokesperson. He has never been my spokesperson. I was his spokesperson because he was then our Prime Minister too. I want you to let me look in the camera. Is this camera seeing me very well? Let me ask you, Mr. Olimbwa Peke Masolo. You know, you have never seen me walk. You drive, I drive. You sleep where you sleep, I sleep. You know, I have my own incomes and my own assets that I survive on. I've never picked money for clan chairman. You know who picked that? I wouldn't want you to run away from the point. The point of emphasis I want to bring to the attention of Mr. Olimbwa in this camera is one. If Mr. Olimbwa Peke had not been relieved of responsibility as a Prime Minister of the cultural institution, would he be making the same statements? If he had not been relieved of responsibility, would he be saying the same statements? I wouldn't think so. So my senior brother, Charles, our former PM, is making those statements because he's no longer the PM of the cultural institution. So I wouldn't really want to take such statements very seriously because he's not an authority on Bugisu. He's not an authority. We are all equal authorities in our respective capacities on Bugisu, on Masaba, from our different dimensions. Yes. You have someone who wrote the anthem. She's an authority on that. You have another one, a scholar is an authority on that. You have a culturalist is an authority on that. So there's nobody who is an authority on matters of the cultural institution. That's what I can bring to the attention of Umuku. I use my money. I've just driven up to here using my own fuel. Which money do I get from the cultural leader? Which one? Which one? We are here to ensure that we communicate to our people and give them the necessary information. So I don't want to be veered off by the communication of angry people like Mr. Olimbwa, where we are going to, as I said, power, cultural power should not be given to children. I must be very honest on that one.
Since we have the voice of the ex-Prime Minister,
yes,
in this video,
yes,
and this audio,
yes,
really explained,
yes, where
him and Umukoka misunderstood themselves and how they parted ways.
Yes.
And these were his words.
Because one, we came in as leaders of Winzia Masaba. But if you turn around and create another one and we disagree with you, you can use those two words on us. But I will tell you that we disagreed because the man dishonored the constitution of Winzia Masaba and the institution which brought him to be Umukuka, number 3. So, at my age and my colleagues, there was no way we would sit there where the man has brought his chupuri and we say, yes sir, no. It's a pity that a young man like Masiga is telling population lies. But give him some time. Masiga should be told that just give a few 2-3 months. He will come back to, if he's Umu Masaba, he will come back to the normal senses.
So those are the words of the ex-Prime Minister.
Yes.
He says it's not specific about anything else, but he says the Umukuka deviated from the common goal of the Masaba.
Allow me to, I know as we are winding up.
Then you also make a clarity on the issue of the car.
I've been a spokesperson for as long as, both formal as I said and informally. I'm very, very privy that the issue of Inzu is peripheral. How do you say peripheral in Uganda? Kumabali Shenzu Shishindu Shenzu Holo Magarumu Kukaru Sawenzu is not the issue that made the Walimbwa.
It is far off.
Yes. It's not the issue that made the Umukuka relieve Olimbwa of Right Honorable Olimbwa Peke at that time of responsibility. I'm an insider and I wouldn't want to go into the details unless if prompted. But I have a heap of details. I can even say it on the camera here. I'm the only one in the meeting that stood up. I stood up like this. I said, no, Your Highness, don't take that route. And Olimbwa was able to survive for some time. It's there on a record, but I don't want to go into that. of the people who are in the top management, I'm the one that stood up and said, please don't take that route. So I don't want to go there. Let's be very objective. The misunderstandings of Umukuka and our Prime Minister Olimbo Peke, I'm very privy, but I will not put that on camera. I will not put that on camera. The issue of Inzu is immaterial. In any case, why would Olimbo, who is not a director of Inzu, Inzu has his own directors, there is the what? When you read, it's not part of them. And the Attorney General recently clarified and said, if you are not part of the directors, this is a company, you are not part of it. So it's not part of it. Technically, it's not part of it. But I know the reasons. Good enough for being in the middle of them. And it's me who came in and said, please, it's not the right route. When people are seated in the meeting, I don't want to put that on the record because I'm mature. Yes.
Let's wind up and we call it a day for this show.
The issue of Inzu, rather the car, we have had these concerns that His Highness the Umukuka has his car. The car is written in his own names, or the logo and others are written not in the names of Bugisu Cultural Institution, but in the names of the person. That is an issue. I was actually calling the PA, rather spokesperson, Minister of Gender, right now, but it's pressing busy. I would have clarified. But that's a decision that was taken at Kampala, Minister of Gender, and I would want to authoritatively assume the most and well placed to answer that one. Yes, for me, as a spokesperson of the cultural institution here, I wouldn't make certain basic comments beyond that. I wanted our colleague from the Ministry of Gender to clarify on why it was so. Yes, thank you so much on that.
Thank you so much. You say bye-bye to the Bamasaba and the Ugandans and the world at large.
Ngemaliriza ndikupirisa Bamasaba ndi hulehe lirima mubukuka feku fuchirisa huri nga bebukuka errors yatsabo isitambat errors tezibura everywhere. Even God himself regretted. Do you know that God regretted creating man? God himself, he regretted. How I wish I had not created man. I created a man and the man disturbed me, has given me headache. Actually, of all creatures of God that have given God the headache is man. A man disobeys. Even the first days of Adam was disobedience. So we want to accept that we could have erred. We might err on a number of areas here and there. But we call Bamasaba that let's use civilized means of communicating. We encourage even a petition. May have no problem on behalf of the cultural institution. If you have an issue, because the people came to us and said, no, the logo is scaring. We told His Highness Romukuka that please, this is what our people are saying. Cabinet will work on that to ensure that certain considerations are put in place. So where there are errors, we are here to listen. We are here as a cultural institution, and we are not going to be here forever. Lastly,
finally,
yes,
as you make your very last submission,
yes,
one of the issues they claim is that Demukuka has made himself a one-man ruler.
I think that's what I was answering.
Yes, he has no cabinet, he has no cultural council, he has nothing like a governing body and everything. Now,
that is one. There's also I wanted to strike out a difference between Umukuka and Bukuka. Now you have the clans Batsiranga bari Bukuka. This clan chairman in the clan structure, that is Bukuka. Then you have Umukuka, isn't it? So the clans produce Umukuka, isn't it so? Am I right?
Yes.
Clans produce Umukuka. Umukuka does not produce what? Clans. Now, clans or Bukuka, which is now cultural customs, Bukuka, Enuas, that's the English word, Enuas, can live forever and what? Ever. But Umukuka cannot live forever and ever. That's why we had Umukuka 1, we had Umukuka 2, we had Umukuka 3. So I'm here to assure Bamasaba that when 228 comes, Bamasaba, using the right formulas, we shall communicate in the Gazette and I tell people to organize the children. We shall not allow that one. 2, Umukuka has a cabinet. We have minutes to validate or dispel these rumors that he works alone. I'm here, the spokesperson. Have you, for how long? When did you last interview the Umukuka? Yourself?
It's been long.
It's long. It's long. Perhaps during inauguration or something, or coronation, whatever it was. So, but you have interviewed me several times.
And you've been available.
I have been available. So the spokesperson is here. Unless if you are now prompting me to tell you that we also have a Prime Minister, Dr. Paul Mwambu. We have a Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Klet Wandui. Another Deputy, Dr. Kosea Wambaka. Another Deputy before Wakoli, a Deputy Prime Minister and a Kenyan chapter. He was a former minister for in Kenyan government, Chibake. You get that? We have ministers for education is there. We have ministers for lands, Honorable Makatu. We have Reverend Titus Kutosi. We have Honorable Khalid, Minister for Security. Honorable Irene Mangali, our special envoy. Honorable Priscilla Mungoma, your friend. She's our Minister for Tourism. And many others. We have Minister for Finance, Honorable Masaba, Commissioner, Secretary to Cabinet, Honorable Anthony. And Honorable Emmanuel Mutanji, our Minister for Investments, among others. So there is a very formidable team, and it is the best team. So let's ensure that we support it. This is to refute and totally reject the notion and assertion that Umukuka is working alone. On the issue of the General Assembly, we prefer a council of elders to advise Umukuka. That's the only council we need to advise the cultural leader. Otherwise, an assembly that to make laws, enact ordinances, we don't have those powers to enact laws because we are prevented and dissuaded and discouraged by the Constitution in Article 246, Clause 3F, that we shall not exercise executive, legislative, and administrative powers. So we are not lawmakers. Don't complain, nobody should complain that Umukuka has not made him an RDC, Umukuka has ordered for his saki. Umukuka does not have those powers. But I want to tell you about myself that we have the structure of the clan chairman, or the clans. Now, as I summarize, we have two issues. This is, now, this is the law, isn't it? This is the law of Uganda. This is the clan. Isn't it? This is customs. Customs is custom. So Umukuka is in between our customs and the laws of what? Of Uganda. And Umukuka of the Bamasaba, whether the Umukuka of Uganda or whether the Umukuka of Toro, cannot live above the laws. There is an Englishman which I have consistently used, an English king who asked his Chief Justice, his Attorney General, and asked him that you, Mr. Attorney General, Mr. Chief Justice, can you guide me? The king asks him and says, me the king and the law, who is higher than the what? The other. The Chief Justice told him, Your Majesty, with due respect, you are higher. You are higher. But the law is higher than what? Than you. So when the king was told that the law is much higher than him, the king sacked him the following day. We want to insist that all individuals in Uganda, from the president, the cultural leaders, that are subservient to the law, that are below the law, and they are not above the law. So Umukuka cannot operate outside the laws and cannot conflict and contradict the laws of Uganda. If the law says you are not a lawmaker, why would you want to begin enacting ordinances? Do you have that authority? You don't have it. So we expect our people to support the cultural institution. At an appropriate time, you shall come here to tell our people who has been supporting the cultural institution. We shall explain our programs. The name that I want to insist on, Bugisu Ngishu, as some people are using, names should not divide us. What should be dividing us should be attempts to remove our culture. Yes. Any attempts to remove the culture of Amasaba or abolish or ban or eliminate should be the dividing point, but not the names. I gave you the example of Christopher, who the other man, Columbus, when he reached the island of East Africa and saw smoke across the island of Mutapa and Macau, and he asked who sleeps over there. They told him it is an Arab man called Musa bin Beach. He named the place as Mozambique, and that was all. That's how names come about. I've repeatedly said the Kakungula across Busaja Bwankuba. That's how names come. Here they call us Bagisu because it is they call it a lush area, a grazing area for the other Marakwetu tribes. When they looked at here, they saw a lot of grass. So that's why that name comes up, Waluankishu. That this is our grazing area. But I want to tell you that these names are recent. The names are recent. Because my grandfather, who grew up in Bukaras and was born in 1860 and died in the 1940s, he never knew of Mbale. There was no Mbale town, it wasn't there. He had traveled more than 10 kilometers to do what? Because they were marauding animals. My grandfather was called Nasasa of Bukaras, Bukarera. They were marauding animals. You move, you are eaten, isn't it? So people used not to move. So people will be saying Nasasa of where? Of Bukarera, Bukaras. They only had one name. My grandfather had one name, Nasasa. Your great is what? Where did he live?
It's called Ali.
Your great Ali who?
Moes.
Ali Moes. He should have lived in the 1900s. He never knew of any place beyond a certain area. People never visited. People never looked for jobs. They were all wild animals and monkeys and baboons and lions. So there was limited movement of people, yes.
Okay. It has been a pleasure to have you, the spokesperson of this institution. And we shall keep on updating you. For the people who are watching Mbale Express TV from within Mbale, within the country and outside Uganda, we really say we're privileged to have you from the beginning to the end of this show. And thank you, Mr. Masiga, for the great opportunity and the great time you've had to discuss with us these important issues
Thank you, sir.
of the cultural institution. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye-bye.